Cats are small. Cats are stealthy. Cats are kind of everywhere and go largely unnoticed, unless you're a cat lady. I definitely talk to stray cats. Cats can see things even when you don't know they're seeing things. You know what else espouses all these qualities? Really good spies. But does that mean that cats could be trained like spies? Could cats really be spies? No, not at all. But that didn't stop the CIA from pursuing a program to turn cats into cyborgs and train them to hunt down persons of interest to listen in on their conversations during the Cold War. Acoustic Kitty was a very real program in the 1960s, and it's such a stunning example of the kinds of wild brainstorming that not only happened during the peak of the Cold War, but the weird brainstorming that was actually put into practice. What's up, everyone? I'm Amy, a mid-century heavy historian, author, speaker, TV personality, and Twitch streamer. I am interested in a lot of things, and today that thing is the time the CIA tried to use cats as spies. The idea of training household pets to be field agents has its roots in American psychologist B.F. Skinner's work in operant psychology and behavioral modification. Skinner believed that an animal could be trained to follow directions using positive and negative reinforcement in a controlled environment, like a cage or a pen. He called it a Skinner box. Beginning in the late 1940s, Skinner put his theories into practice. He trained animals to perform simple tasks. He had rats pull levers and pigeons peck buttons. Then he taught them to differentiate between the right action and the wrong action. When an animal pulled the right lever or hit the right button, it got a treat, positive reinforcement. When it did the wrong thing, something bad happened to discourage repeating that action. Going through this cycle enough times, the animal eventually learned to respond to orders of press the button or pull the lever. Remember that Simpsons episode where Lisa investigates whether her brother is dumber than a hamster as her science fair project? The hamster learned very quickly to not eat the treat that was electrocuted. Bart didn't. Skinner effectively did the same thing, and much like Lisa, added a study of the individual subject's personalities and wants into his work to better condition the animal's behaviors. Fast forward nearly 20 years to the mid-1960s. The United States and Soviet Union are locked in the Cold War. Both sides are developing missiles, atomic weapons, and creative ways to spy on one another, from high-altitude airplanes, I have a whole series on these on my other channel, to agents planted deep within government organizations. Both sides knew that spies were among their number. The problem was finding out who the spies were. And even if there was suspicion that someone was an enemy agent, they needed proof to make sure it was the right person. This is where the cats come in. The whole small, stealthy, generally ignored thing was, in the CIA's opinion, perfect for discreetly tracking suspected Soviet agents. From September through December of 1967, the CIA analyzed the potential of an animal conditioning program with the goal of getting, quote, the vehicle being CIA speak for animal, to a remote point and back again. Early studies also included a terminal behavior program, i.e., a way to terminate the animal in case its true nature was discovered. The CIA looked at both cats and dogs as potential vehicles, but ultimately settled on cats as the best option because of the, quote, much lower expense of utilizing cats as experimental vehicles for laboratory work than dogs. A July 21, 1968 memo describes how the cats were trained. They learned to follow three main sound cues. One meant stay the course, one meant turn right, and another meant turn left. Other signals, like a continuous tone or an intermittent tone, were reserved to relay specific information about the cat's targets. Training started in a large pen where cats' correct responses were rewarded. As they got better, the pen got bigger. Then handlers slowly added distractions like traffic noise to slowly desensitize the cats to these real-world elements. The final training phase was in an open yard. Training cats is all well and good, sort of. But if the cat was able to reach its target, how could it relay any conversation it heard? The CIA's idea was to turn these trained cats into fluffy listening devices through implants. In an hour-and-a-half long surgery, technicians would embed a microphone in the cat's ear canal, a power source in its chest, and an antenna running along its spine. This would let the handlers transmit the directional tones to guide the cat, and then listen in on conversations once the cat was in sight of its target via a simple radio link. As long as the cat didn't wander off and go out of range, the system was, at least in theory, flawless. One cat was given implants and turned into a cyborg spy in 1967. Its mission was to wander through a park in Washington and eavesdrop on two Soviet men's conversation. But it was hit by a car crossing a street and killed. The program was canceled not long after, though at the time it had enough funding to carry it through the first months of 1969, with additional funding pending if cats suddenly became more trainable, which they did not. One very heavily redacted document sums up the challenge of training cats. Our final examination of trained cats, redacted for redacted, use in the redacted, convinced us that the program would not lend itself in a practical sense to our highly specialized needs. It would not be practical. The CIA training cats as spies has got to be the most Cold War program that ever programmed. But it also doesn't seem that strange. There were so many new technologies popping up post-war, and the need for reconnaissance was paramount. It was the era of brainstorming, and nothing was off the table. But also, the CIA spent time and money confirming that cats are indeed fluffy little jerks that don't do what they're told. Thanks for hanging out with me a bit today. Be sure to follow the channel if you're into weird history, and if you're into rants and video games, I stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Monday, Thursday, and Sunday. I usually stream Kaizo's Super Mario World, but I'm really working on growing the channel, so we have incentives like cooking streams, games with chat, and a lot of my playing classic games I never played as a child, like Mega Man, Donkey Kong Country, and Link to the Past. If you do want to check it out, I'd love to see you over there. All of the relevant links you need are below, which means I'm just about done for today. I will see you guys next time. Bye. Oh, you want to say bye too? Oh, that's Pete Conrad. Yeah. Oh. You don't do what you're told either, do you?